one thing straight. I have not been drinking.
Okay.
And
Right hand to the nose.
yeah.
I need you to recite the alphabet from Z to A backwards as fast as you can.
From
Can you
Z
do
to
that
A?
for me? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Z. Z. Y. Oh, my bladder is full.
I'm not worried about your bladder right now.
Sure.
Okay.
10.
All right.
You know what would be good is if you hit and then you kind of get down in a barrel turn and then you know?
That was good.
That would be...
That was really good. You a dancer?
No. I'm just drunk.
So as you can see, I'm trying to lighten the mood a little bit, but as you can see, if you can pass it, and I've seen the full video of that, he recited the ABCs backward, he walked in a straight line, and he did some dance moves, as you can see. But the way they question and everything is just to bring it out. So police, when they stop you for a DUI check, they are trying to save your life and everybody else's life. Now, from the beginning, we've talked a lot about drinking and driving. There's another thing that is just as bad as drinking and driving. Alright, and that is not getting enough sleep. And to tell you about this is Travis. Come on, Travis.
Alright, so how many of you guys have had a long day at work or gone to school, been at a friend's house really late, and you have the longest drive ahead of you after that? And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. Well, sleeping while driving is really dangerous. You know, you're on your way home, it's dark, you know, you got the music blaring, you know, you're falling in and out, you know, and, you know, highways especially, because, you know, it's a straight line, and you're going in a straight line, put on cruise control or whatever, and you're just sitting there like this for about an hour, maybe 30 minutes. And, you know, those bumps on the side of the highways, that's why they put them there, because, you know, when you start swerving, you hit them, and it makes really loud noise, and it wakes you up, and that's why they have them there. So, you know, you can really get into some trouble if you're getting sleepy while driving. Here's a YouTube video of how it shows you. Boom. It's seconds, and he was just dazing off. He didn't even have his eyes fully closed, and he could have, you know, who knows? He's probably in serious trouble. You know, he's probably really hurt. So people who sleep 6 to 7 hours are 2 times as likely to get into crashes. 4 to 5 hours are 4 or 5 times likely to get into a car crash because, you know, you're not getting enough sleep, so you're going to be really drowsy. So 30% of car accidents, that's a little under half. So we did a little survey of all 23 people in the class, and 18 people, less than 7 hours. That means 18 people in this class have 2 times more likely to get into a car crash versus the 5 that do get more than 7 hours, because, you know, we're teenagers, you know, or, you know, older, and we stay up late, we party, we do this, and, you know, we're not getting enough sleep that we need to. And Paul here can tell you about something we can all relate to.
Now, in those few seconds that I was texting, that could have been a fatal car accident. Now, I'm going to show you what can happen if you're too into your phone texting to see what's happening around you.
Walkway. Mark Caldo in Sky 5. Well, this is very interesting. Apparently the bears decided to move around.
Oh, the garbage cans are out too.
Yeah, just a couple of minutes ago, the bear left the clearing in the backyard there. He made his way over to the driveway over on Mayfield. He came down that driveway, down Mayfield, and now he's on Briggs, and now it looks like he's turning into another driveway here. We're going to kind of maneuver around and see if we can get another shot of him. But yeah, he was definitely
right there.
okay, someone resident there.
He just saw the bear. Oh.
Now, this man was just texting and driving. Imagine what could have happened if he would have been driving. Things would have been a lot worse. According to 2011 distracted driving statistics, 1/3, 37% of people have admitted to texting and driving. How relevant is this to us, you ask? Well, I took it upon myself to do a survey, and 18 people, 78% of the class, they admitted to texting and driving. 5 people, 22% of the class, admitted to not having texting and driving.
Now we want to move on to an alarming warning about texting while driving. You know it's dangerous. Many people still continue to do it, and now there's some frightening new video that proves how bad it can be. Here's NBC's Janet Shanley.
On a busy Texas interstate, traffic up ahead is at a dead stop. You can see it, but the driver of this San Antonio City bus speeding down the road clearly had something else occupying his attention. Betty Jo Hummel was in the driver's seat of that SUV.
Oh my God, that's bad. It's horrible. It was the most horrific thing I've probably ever lived through.
With 2 disabled passengers strapped in behind him, why didn't the driver ever slow down? Take a look at what Adrian Perez was doing instead. He pulls out his cell phone and starts texting, and not just for a few seconds. For 6 minutes leading up to the crash, Perez was looking down, and when he finally focuses on the road, it's way too late. Now he's alert, and he knows he's in trouble. Perez isn't the only offender. These San Antonio City bus drivers are also driving while dealing with their phones. This woman texting at 65 miles an hour.
It's just like, pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention when you have so many lives at stake.
Betty Jo Hummel says she's lucky to be alive. Others caught between a cell phone and a driver haven't been as fortunate. 10 days ago, a Houston motorist veered into a flooded ravine. He and 2 others were able to get out, but 5 of his children drowned in the back seat. Police say a cell phone was involved. And 25 people died on a California commuter train last September. Records show the driver sent and received text messages in the moments before the crash. Back in Texas, cameras recorded the danger, but it was passengers who reported it as they sat in the back, hoping they'd live to tell. For today, Janet Shanley at NBC News, Dallas.
Yeah, you see it all the time.
Okay, when you pull out your phone to send that stupid text message, remember, you could be putting people's lives at risk. A child, a father, a mother, or even an animal's life. That man, that person, they were texting, and because of that, 5 children died. That bus driver was texting, and that woman, it could have been a lot worse. She could have been dead. Did you know that when you drive, 30% of your brain activity is used? Your chances of getting into a car crash while texting, your chances are increased by 23 times. 23 times. That's crazy, as opposed to not texting. In the year 2010, 3,092 people died from accidents due to distracted driving, and about 416,000 people were injured. Today, texting is a new big thing. Over the last couple of years, texting has been growing exponentially as the big thing among teenagers. In fact, it has grown so much that alcohol-related accidents are no longer the #1 teen killers. Texting and driving is now the #1 teen killer. An average text takes 4.6 seconds to send. 4.6 seconds to send. That is equal to 55 miles per hour driving through a football field blind. Now, how many of you, if I would ask you to drive for 5 seconds with your eyes closed, how many of you would do it? Nobody, right? Who's going to drive 5 seconds with their eyes closed? Well then, why do you send a text message which is just as bad as driving with your eyes closed for 5 seconds? That's like me driving on US 1. I will admit I am one of the offenders of those people. On US 1, every morning at school, when I get a text message, I'm tempted to check my phone and read text messages, send text messages. Imagine me, for every time I send a text, I could be driving through a football field, and what if a person were to cross in front of the street in front of me the second I look down? I could be killing somebody or injuring somebody. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to live the rest of my life with knowing that I killed somebody because of a stupid text message. Using a cell phone while driving, it delays your reaction, the equivalent to having an alcohol concentration of 0.08%. So, driving is just as bad as drinking alcohol. That's crazy. 80% of crashes in 2010 were due to distracted drivers. Text messaging is banned in 38 different states in the United States of America. Now, sadly, Florida is not one of these. It's not one of the 50 states in the United States of America that has banned, but sooner or later, it's going to be. Now, if you take a road trip, you've got to make sure to look at the local laws, because if you're caught talking on the cell phone or texting, you'll have to pay a fine, and you could possibly face some jail time. Now, how many of you, even though you know how bad it is, how many of you still text? Yeah, I know I still do it. I'm not gonna lie, I still text. Now, here are 3 ways of what you can do to help refrain yourself from texting that have worked for me. Number 1, keep your cell phone out of reach and sight. You don't see your cell phone, you'll be less tempted to read a text message. Also, keep your cell phone on silent. Remember, silence is golden. If you don't see any notifications, any LED lights, any text messages received, then you won't know you received a text message. Keep it out of your sight, keep it on silent, you won't be distracted. Step number 3. Also, if you really want to know what a text message says, and you have to know and it's killing you, and you have somebody else in the car, designate a texter. You could have one of your friends, one of your best friends, you could assign them to be the texter and have them text for you. Like me and my friend Greg. I have my best friend Greg, I have him read my text messages, and then I have him send text messages for me. Just by doing that, I could be saving a life, keeping myself from getting into a fatal car accident, affecting my family members, or getting anybody else into a fatal car accident. Now, this is not the last step. This is not the last thing that distracted drivers do. Here are a couple other distractions that Haley will introduce for you.
Well, a lot of things can distract you from the road, just like texting, as Paul said. Another big thing is eating and driving. Like, you can go into a drive-thru and grab a hamburger from McDonald's, but it's as dangerous as drinking and driving. Eating actually increases your reaction speed by 44%, while drinking at the legal limit increases it by 22%. So it could be more dangerous. Also, when you're eating, you're focused on not getting that all over your clothes, like me, because I'm a pretty messy eater, and you're looking at your food and not at the road at all. Talking to passengers, it's just like talking on the phone, besides they're like with you in the car, so you'll be more tempted to look at the person and not look at the road. And then grooming. 500,000 crashes are due to women putting on makeup in the car because they're so focused on that because they don't want to mess up their makeup, because that's that's a major part of their wardrobe, so they don't want to mess that up. Reading, using a navigation system. When you turn on like a GPS, it will say do not operate while using a vehicle, and that is for your safety because you can't do both and it's just distracting. So if you need to put in where you're going, do it before you get on the road, or if you are lost, pull off the road and type it in. Adjusting the radio. Don't be a DJ, because if you're in the car with people, have them do it, because you can press a ton of buttons and you'll never find a song you like, and then you'll have to go press more buttons, and it'll just be too much time with you not looking at the road. And then wearing a seatbelt. That is so important, and it does a lot. This video is going to show you just how it can help you.
There are a lot of scary things out on the road. You never know what might pop up. Wearing your safety belt is the law, even in the back seat. It keeps you safe, and it could protect you from zombies.
So as you can see, that belt saved his life because when he shot that zombie out the window, that's what restrained him. There's over 35,000 crashes a year, and half of them could have been saved just by wearing a seatbelt. And teens don't do that. They have the highest rate of not wearing a seatbelt. 6 out of 10 crashes involving 16 and 20-year-olds that died were not restrained. They had no seatbelt on, and they flew through windows and crashed into the back of the car. And then motorcycles. Okay, so motorcycles are really dangerous, just without even involving, drinking or anything else. The highest death and injury is between 20 to 24-year-olds, and then speeding is a major cause for motorcycles because, well, motorcycles are really fast, and motorcyclists like to go fast for them, so. And they can just run stoplights, get hit, run into back cars, and then people not seeing them when they're turning into intersections. This video is going to show you just that you need to watch for motorcycles.
How close does a biker have to be before you see them? Here. Here. Or here. At a junction, look, then look again. Think. Take longer to look for bikes.
Bikes go really fast, so if you only look once, you won't be able to see that. And then drinking while driving a motorcycle is even more dangerous because, well, when you're driving a motorcycle, you're pretty much holding up that thing, and if your mind's not on that, you will not succeed. But I actually have a story about this. About 2 years ago, it was late one night, and my sister's teacher at BCC in Cocoa, he died in a motorcycle accident. He was drinking, and he was speeding down 520, and he actually ran into a car at a stoplight. His bike went down, and he flew. At that same time, me and my mom we were just taking a night drive in Merritt Island, and we saw a crash, and the bike looked familiar to my mom. So she pulled off, and she was watching and stuff, and she was talking to them, and they showed her the bike, and then right when she saw it, she knew it was the teacher. So, they couldn't identify the body, so she actually said that I'm pretty sure it's that person, so my mom helped that. And it was really scary for me because I saw them pulling the body off the road and putting it into the ambulance, and he lived through that, but he died in surgery the next day, and my sister was really close to him, and I knew him too, so I was really shaken by it because I go on the back of my mom's motorcycle all the time. And my mom's a pretty safe driver, but, it's just, that could happen to me just by someone else driving and hitting me on my mom's motorcycle, so that's just scary thoughts. And then Miranda's going to do our conclusion.
Alright, so we went over basic points with driving. Obviously, don't text and drive, don't drink and drive. If you're tired, don't drive. Go get some more sleep. And don't speed. That's also a major thing that goes into it. Always wear your seatbelt and stay focused on the road. There's a lot of things that happen out there, crazy things. And by obeying the laws, you can save yourself and many others. This includes everything that we went over. There's probably even stuff we haven't even went over that also is included in this. So today we've informed you and hopefully convinced you to not do any of these and to always wear your seatbelt and to not be distracted and all of that. So I hope that we've informed enough that maybe you didn't already know and convinced you more than what you've been told before to not do this. So thank you guys for listening.